Okay, I feel like we've done a really good job in terms of building up our skills here step by step. You saw the raw HTML table structure. We talked about how to control that raw structure using CSS. Then we just discussed how we can use class rules or ID selectors on specific areas of our table, which is wonderful. But now I want to get a little bit more technical. Again, the next incremental step, sort of in the knowledge adventure, the knowledge process. I want to use what's referred to as descendant selectors. You remember these guys? This is like conditional formatting. So the example that I think I'm going to give you is I want to format paragraphs if a paragraph happens to appear inside my table. In other words, I want it to take on certain formatting that's going to be completely different from paragraphs that reside outside of the table. So let's go and see how we can pull this off. Let's flip back over to our code. And the first thing that I'm going to need to do is insert a paragraph into my table somewhere. So again, just for the sake of time and speed, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a little bit of text out of one of my previous paragraphs, maybe a couple of sentences, nothing too insane, nothing too long, maybe just a little bit of text there, that's fine. And then what I'd like you to do is find one of your cells. It doesn't matter which cell you want to target here. In other words, one of your table data elements. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get rid of the text content that I have in there. I'm instead going to throw in a paragraph. So I have my table cell, my TD, and then inside the table cell, I just went and threw in a paragraph just like that. And then inside the paragraph, I'm going to paste the content that I just copied. So if I save that and go back to the browser and refresh, there we go. Now we have this massive paragraph sitting inside the first column. And notice what it's done, by the way, to my column widths. It's completely destroyed my column widths. Now what I want to do is I want to apply some conditional formatting, again, using this thing called a descendant selector to control the formatting of a paragraph if it happens to appear inside a table. Now, before I actually show you how to do this, again, this is my example that I'm showing you. I'm showing you this with a paragraph, but this would work with an image. It would work with a list. You can throw in any kind of content you want into a table. Any content that can reside outside of a table can also reside inside a table, and you can use this exact technique that I'm about to show you to format that content. So way up inside my internal style sheet, I'm going to go and create my descendant selector. So what I'm saying is if I have a table cell, a TD, and that table cell happens to hold a paragraph, then I want to apply some specific CSS formatting. Okay, so this is my descendant selector. This is my conditional formatting, right? So I've got to code it in that order. So maybe the first thing I want to do is I want to handle the width, because the width, again, is kind of out of control. So I'm going to say, make the width of that paragraph 100 pixels. I honestly don't know if 100 pixels is going to be enough or too much. Let's refresh. There we go. Now we have something like that happening. What else could we do here? Well, I could say, let's make the text bold. So I could say font-weight. There we go. Bold. Maybe I want to get rid of that text indent and 0 on that guy. Maybe I want to change the font. I could go font-family, and I could say, I'm going to go with my Trebuchet MT. There we go. Something like that. Save that up. Refresh. And there's the formatting now getting applied to that paragraph. Now, obviously, I'm still having width issues. I need to go back and adjust that. But really, the point here is that I'm controlling this paragraph, and I'm controlling this paragraph independently of all other paragraphs inside my document. Again, this idea of descendant selectors, which we've seen already. Now, what I would encourage you to do is to try this out with some other HTML elements that you might know about. For example, an image. Go and find one of your other cells and insert a graphic, and then try and control that graphic. So in other words, the coding for the descendant selector, that's going to control the graphic, would be something like this, TD-IMG. Again, just specifying out the HTML selectors. Or maybe it's a situation where I want to control a cell, but only if a specific class rule has been applied to that cell. Again, now we're getting more and more advanced. If I have a table cell that happens to have the class rule alert applied to it, well, then I want to apply these various CSS properties, right? You can get really specific. It's pretty cool. Or maybe I don't want to target a table cell. Maybe it's the entire table I want to target. Or maybe it's a header row, something like this, right? So you can mix and match and set this up exactly the way you want. So once again, and as always, I definitely encourage you to experiment. I'm simply introducing you to the idea. I leave it up to you to actually go and try it out on your own.